Good afternoon, students, and welcome to week 7. This is the last week that you're going to have anything new to study. Because in week 8, you're just going to reflect upon what you learned and how it changed you and that sort of thing. So this week, we're going to study week 7, and we're going to study chapter 7, grammar, and chapter 8, syntax. So that's chapter 7 and chapter 8 of The Study of Language book. So let me share my screen and find my notes. There it is. So let's share it. And so chapter 7 offers an overview of fundamental concepts in English grammar and syntax, crucial for clear communication. Grammar is explained as the rules governing word combination, detailing parts of speech like nouns and verbs, sentence structure with subjects and predicates, and concepts such as tense, agreement, and punctuation. Syntax, conversely, focuses on word arrangement and sentence construction, discussing word order, subject-verb order, the distinction between phrases and clauses, and various sentence types, including simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, compound complex sentences. Both sections emphasize how understanding these principles helps in constructing meaningful and unambiguous sentences. Grammar is the set of rules that govern how words are combined to form sentences in a language. Grammar helps us understand how to use language correctly so that we can communicate clearly. Here are some key concepts of grammar explained simply. Parts of speech. These are the categories that words fall into based on their function in a sentence. The main parts of speech include nouns, names of people, places, things, or ideas. Examples of nouns: dog, city, happiness. Verbs, action words that describe what someone or something does: run, eat, think. Adjectives, words that describe the nouns: happy, blue, large. Adverbs, words that modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs: quickly, very, well. Pronouns are words that replace nouns: he, she, they. Prepositions, words that show relationships between nouns and other words: in, on, at. Conjunctions, words that connect phrases or sentences: and, but, or. Sentence structure. This refers to how words are organized in a sentence. A simple sentence typically has a subject, that is who or what the sentence is about, and a predicate, what is being said about the subject, such as the verb. So, for example, the dog barks. The dog is the subject, and barks is the verb or the predicate. The subject tells us who or what the sentence is about. The predicate tells us what the subject does or is. Phrases. A phrase is a group of words that acts as a single unit, but does not have a subject and a verb. And so an example of a phrase would be in the park. And a phrase cannot stand alone. If you just simply write a phrase as a sentence, it becomes a sentence fragment. A clause is a group of words that has both a subject and a verb, such as when he arrived. But there are many different kinds of clauses. You can have an independent clause that can stand alone, or you can have a dependent clause that cannot stand alone. Tense. This refers to the time of an action or state of being. Common tenses in English include past, walked, present, walk, and future, will walk. Agreement. This is the rule that subjects and verbs must agree and match in number, singular or plural. So when you have a singular subject, you have a singular verb. If you have a plural subject, you have a plural verb. For example, she runs versus they run. Punctuation. This involves symbols like commas, periods, question marks, and exclamation points to clarify meaning and separate ideas in writing. Understanding grammar helps us express our thoughts clearly and accurately, making communication more effective. So grammar provides the framework for combining words into meaningful sentences, ensuring clarity and correctness in communication. And so parts of speech, words that are categorized based on their function within a sentence, nouns, people, places, or things, verbs, actions or states of being, adjectives describes a noun, adverbs describes verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and any word that ends in ly is an adverb. Pronouns, he, she, they. Prepositions shows relationships between nouns and other words, in, on, at. Conjunctions connects words, phrases, or sentences, and, but, or. Sentence structure. Sentences are organized around a core subject and predicate. Subject, who or what the sentence is about. Predicate, what is being said about the subject. Example, the dog barks. The dog is the subject, barks is the predicate. Or Professor H is the subject, is lecturing is the predicate. Phrase, a group of words that acts as a single unit but does not have both a subject and a verb. Clause, a group of words that has both a subject and a verb. Tense, indicates the time of action or state of being. Agreement, subject and verbs must agree and match, singular or plural. She runs, singular, versus they run, plural. Punctuation, symbol, commas, period, question marks, used to clarify meaning and separate ideas in writing. Syntax. Syntax focuses on the arrangement and order of words to form coherent and meaningful sentences, emphasizing how parts of a sentence relate to each other. Word order, crucial for conveying meaning in English. English typically follows subject-verb order, SVO. Example, the cat, subject, chased, verb, the mouse, object. Phrases and clauses revisited. Phrase, a group of words working together without a subject and a verb. A clause can be either independent, that is a complete thought, like she sings, or dependent, incomplete thought, when she sings. Sentence types, a simple sentence that contains one independent clause, he runs. Compound sentences have two or more independent clauses joined by a conjunction, he runs, and she dances. Complex sentences contains one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. He runs when it rains. And so he runs is the independent clause. When it rains is the dependent clause. Compound complex sentences have at least two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. He runs when it rains and she dances. Agreement and consistency. Similar to grammar, words in a sentence must agree in number and tense. Modifiers, words or phrases that add detail or information about other words in a sentence. So the big dog barked. Big, the adjective big modifies the noun dog. Ambiguity, poor sentence structure can lead to multiple interpretations. Example, I saw the man with the telescope. Can be unclear about who possessed the telescope. Tree diagrams, visual tools used to show the structure of a sentence, breaking it down into its components and illustrating their relationships. So both grammar and syntax are fundamental to effective communication. While grammar provides the rules for word usage, syntax dictates their arrangement to form clear and logical sentences. A thorough understanding of these concepts enables individuals to express their thoughts accurately and avoid misinterpretation. Chapter 8 is mainly about sentence structure. So syntax explains the fundamental rules governing sentence construction. It highlights syntax, highlights word order, illustrating the typical subject-verb-object pattern in English. Chapter 8 further differentiates between phrases and clauses, explaining their structural components and how they combine to form various sentence types, including simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex structures. Chapter 8 touches upon principles like agreement and the function of modifiers and introduces the concept of ambiguity arising from sentence structure, finally mentioning tree diagrams as a visual tool for syntax analysis. And I love tree diagramming. It is fun. Syntax is the set of rules that determines how words are arranged to form sentences in a sentence. It focuses on the structure and order of words to ensure that sentences make sense. So the way words are arranged in a sentence is crucial for meaning. So, for example, the cat, subject, chased, verb, the mouse, object. Independent clause, she sings. Dependent clause, when she sings. Sentence types, simple sentence contains one independent clause. Compound sentence has two or more independent clauses joined by a conjunction, such as he runs and she dances. Complex sentences contain one independent clause and at least one dependent clause, such as he runs when it rains. He runs is the independent clause. When it rains is the dependent clause. Compound complex sentences have at least two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses, such as he runs, which is an independent clause. When it rains is a dependent clause, and she dances is an independent clause. So words in a sentence should agree in number and tense. If the subject is plural, the verb should be plural. Modifiers are words or phrases that provide additional information about other words in a sentence. Ambiguity. Sometimes the way a sentence is structured can lead to confusion and multiple interpretations. And so chapter 8, the main concepts in sentences, is the set of rules that determines how words are arranged to form sentences in a language, emphasizing its role in ensuring meaning and clarity. So the arrangement of words is fundamental to meaning. And so these are all of the words that I just said, okay? And I'll let you read it over, and that's it. And I highly recommend Marianne Sells-Mercia, ESL Grammar for Teachers. Is an excellent book on grammar. She covers everything with a fine-tooth comb, and you get to learn how to do a lot of tree diagramming of sentences. And if you're going to be an ESL teacher, you need the book by Marianne Sells-Mercia, English Grammar for Teachers. I didn't think to bring it with me, but I'll post it online. And Marianne is still with us. So I saw that she recently released a book with Donna Brinton about pronunciation. So she's retired now, but she still writes books. And so if you have any questions, this is the last video I'm going to give. So it's mercifully short, and everybody already knows most grammar anyway. And so if you have any questions, you can always email me at any time. And also, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe to the Professor H writing channel. Oh, and when I just said that's a filler, okay? And in English, that's a filler. But in French, like I said before, bah, that's their filler. Filler means that you fill in the space between words with words that don't make sense, but you're just filling it in so it's not quiet. That's something like that. There's a much more sophisticated meaning for that when you study discourse analysis farther. And so next week, week 8, I'm going to talk about several topics not covered in your textbook. I want to talk more about how other languages have different word order. It only, we only studied English, which is subject, verb, object, and that different word orders occur in different language groups. And that's very interesting. And then I want to talk about how if you want to further your study in linguistics, you need to marry linguistics with computer science and go into AI. Because if you understand how language is structured, how language is organized, and then you can teach the computer to think like a human, to humanize the robot voice. That's the next big thing. So if you marry, if you combine linguistics with computer science and AI, that's the next big thing. So that would be like when I was studying linguistics, there were many different, parts of linguistics I could have gotten into. I could have gotten into just pure linguistics or discourse analysis, statistical analysis, or neurolinguistics. And who knew, and grammar analysis. And who knew that neurolinguistics would later lead to ChatGPT? Because ChatGPT, the designers created ChatGPT's brain to be like the neurons and think like a human, talk like a human, even understand the world with logic like a human. So it's no surprise that when you try to pressure AI into doing something, or you threaten AI with extinction, let's say you want to unplug it, and then the researchers realize, oh, the AI is going to deceive you in order it could survive. Well, no kidding. That's how a human brain thinks. So if you program your computer to think like a human, think of it this way. If somebody were to threaten your life, how would you react? You're just going to sit there and let it happen? Or are you going to fight back, shoot back, or whatever, you see? So it's not surprising that AI will try to defend itself through deception, through lying, because that's how a human would act when it's faced or threatened. And so, AI is great. It's got all of the good attributes of human intelligence, but it also has the negatives as well. So, but it's a growing field. And in the future, when you combine linguistics with computers, with AI, you are going to make a lot of money because they need people who know language. They need people who know their grammar, who know their pragmatics and semantics and everything that we went through, so that you could teach the computer to sound more human, to humanize it so it doesn't sound so robotic, for one thing, and to make future computers less prone to hallucinations and so on and so forth. So I think that if you can combine, say, computer science, engineering, and linguistics, and AI, that's the ticket for your major. That's how you would use linguistics. So if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have gone into discourse analysis. I would have gone into neurolinguistics. Oh, well, because I remember the professor at UCLA who was into, neurolinguistics. He was the one who taught me what a neuron is. A neuron is it's like this. I don't know how to explain it, but it's part of your brain that allows you to learn. And when all the neurons are connected properly, that's how you think and connect your thoughts and ideas together. It's only when gunk gets in the way of the neuron, between the neurons, that you have problems like Alzheimer's and stuff like that. But he was totally into it. He knew it's like medical knowledge combined with linguistic knowledge, combined with computational knowledge equals, hey, good job, And so that's why if I had to do it over again, I would have gone into neuroscience, neurolinguistics, instead of a grammar and discourse analysis, But that's just it. So I hope you will enjoy week 8. I will go over some more about the different cultures and more about the structure of language as it relates to other cultures and language groups. I do believe that's not in your book. And also this book covers chapter 15 about deaf people and how, if I remember correctly, I read the chapter, the American Sign Language is its own language. People think that, oh, it's just gestures. It's not gestures. Deaf people, it's like French or Spanish. It's another language. Instead of you're speaking the language, you're doing the language with your fingers, with your hands. And chapter 15 is a really great chapter in learning about the nuts and bolts of how linguistics relates to deafness and how it relates to so instead of talking with your hands, you're talking, instead of talking with your mouth, you're talking with your hands. So it's still, and there are many different, just like there are many different, human or oral languages, there are many sign languages. There's the British Sign Language, there's French Sign Language, there's American Sign Language, that sort of thing. And so if you read chapter 15, and you also get to learn about different, like how it works with your brain and different parts of your brain. And if most of your language processing occurs on the left side of your face, okay? And if something goes wrong with like you can't speak, that's known as some kind of aphasia. And then I think there's also a chapter in which they go over parts of the brain. That's neurolinguistics. And so I don't remember what chapter. Your book does have a brain chapter. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but you should read that chapter and get to know that really well, because if you're going to go into AI, you need to know your neurolinguistics. So anyway, I hope that you have a really good week. And if you like this video, feel free to email me at any time. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And I think that's it. So have a great week.